Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I am here with a VR to the prompt for 31 Days of Witchcraft, started by Heather Carter, for day 3, being as this video is going out on May 3rd. So the day 3 prompt is, what area of your practice are you currently focusing on, if any? And so I think that this is a question, like a lot of the questions really, with a lot of latitude, which I think is great. There's lots of things that I could have talked about in the context of this video, but I chose to interpret focusing on in the sense of studying. So what am I in the broad domain of my spiritual or religious practice, my pagan practice? What am I studying right now that I would like to share? And so what I wanted to talk about a little bit today was the reclaiming tradition of witchcraft, which is something that I am very, very new to learning about, but that I'm currently actively exploring. So if you've watched my channel before, you might know that I had a book pile of shame of all the books that I had acquired prior to January 1st of this year that I wanted to read this year before adding to my book collection. And one of the books that was on that pile, that is kind of still on that pile and that I haven't read it yet, is this book, which is called Elements of Magic, Reclaiming Earth, Air, Fire, Water, Spirit, edited by Jane Meredith and Gide Parma, with a foreword by Starhawk. And I had acquired this book after, having seen it, and it appealed to me because my personal practice is very much elementally based or elementally informed. I've talked about this before, so I won't get into that too much. But the idea of a focus of the book on elements really appealed to me. I then saw my friend Cara of the channel Cute Witch 772, who's also one of the contributors on the Pagan Perspective, talk about this book. And I'll just link below Cara's video about this book, which only served to further stoke my interest in this book. So I got this book, and I'll read just a little bit on the back of the book. It says, part of the description: deeply poetic and rich with passion, this book helps you expand your relationship with earth, air, fire, water, and spirit through personal reflections and hands-on explorations. With brilliant contributions from members of the international reclaiming community, this empowering book provides spells, exercises, practices, and perspectives that are taught in reclaiming's foundational class, Elements of Magic. So I had not really read anything about or from reclaiming tradition witchcraft before, but this book really appealed to me, so I picked it up. And I've read some of the foreword a little bit, and I also read, there's a small section on reclaiming in Margot Adler's History of Pagan Movements in America book called Drawing Down the Moon. And so I read a little bit about reclaiming before, and there are things about it that really appeal to me. Not least of which is that it is a witchcraft tradition that is really explicitly political. It is explicitly feminist, explicitly environmentalist, strives to be inclusive, has a intersectional analysis of power and oppression, is oriented towards, doing good for the natural environment, is oriented towards gender justice and racial justice and economic justice, and things that I care a lot about. And a lot of my spiritual path explorations thus far, of course, have taken politics into account in that I, have strong political commitments, and, any kind of spiritual practice and beliefs that I have are going to, interact with my politics in various kinds of ways. But I really was interested in this, I'm reading about it and I'm like, oh, this reclaiming tradition, as opposed to, I think, a lot of other approaches where, as a seeker or spiritual explorer, you have to kind of think about, okay, well, how does this tradition or how does this way of working, mesh or not mesh with my politics? Reclaiming is like unabashedly political. And for the most part, of course not 100%, and never's going to be 100%, but in a lot of ways is political in ways that I can relate to and can agree with and can get on board with, that make me interested and happy. So I got this book. Then through conversation, largely with Cara, I learned that actually this course, Elements of Magic, that this book relates to, has as a kind of prerequisite reading a good portion of the Spiral Dance, Rebirth of the Ancient Religion of the Great Goddess, written by Starhawk. And this is the special 20th anniversary edition. So I haven't actually read much of this book at all beyond the foreword, because I went and bought the Spiral Dance thinking, if there's a prerequisite, I want to explore the prerequisite. So now I'm reading the Spiral Dance in a discussion group with several other folks, based online, of course, and some have read the Spiral Dance before, and some are coming to it for the first time, or some have read parts of it, but we're reading kind of a chapter or two a month and exploring that together. So once I'm through, I believe I'm remembering correctly that it is the first 6 chapters of this one that are treated as a prerequisite for the Elements class. Once I'm through at least the first 6 chapters of the Spiral Dance, then I'm going to dive into this Elements book. So again, I don't have a ton to say about this as a kind of focus, because since it's something that I'm just learning and exploring, and haven't been exploring actively for all that long, I'm still very much, learning and formulating my thoughts. When I have more thoughts on this, you can be certain that I will share those with you. But yeah, so for the time being, what am I focusing on in my practice? I am exploring reclaiming tradition with the writings of Starhawk, specifically Spiral Dance, and the Elements of Magic book after that. Separately from that, I'm also, I'll just mention briefly, because if you've watched my channel before, you'll already know this. I'm currently learning Lenormand, a new divination system of cards that I don't know, but I'm enjoying getting to know. And I am studying astrology as well, very slowly and very much at a kind of beginner stage of things. But that's where my studies are at this time. I look forward to hearing what other folks are focusing on. And if you have comments for me, feel free, to share, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.